Hello, cadets. Welcome to the first class on what you will need to spend the rest of your lives flying through the cold, empty vastness that is space. This is your ship, the Skeld. During your travels, you are sure to need to do many repairs, as the ship is really cheaply made. Today, we will be covering the basic tasks that are needed to keep the Skeld from exploding into a million fiery pieces. Space is a dangerous place. One of the many tasks you will have to do is clear asteroids. To do that, you need to access the gun system in the weapons room. This system functions on a simple point and click system. Just click on the asteroid on your screen and the weapons will clear the path. Maintaining your health is also very important to long journeys. It is recommended that every few days you go to the medical bay and scan to check for infections, viruses, or alien life forms in your body. Walk onto the pad and activate it. It will do the rest itself. Do not worry, only one person can be scanned at a time, so if you're having to wait for someone to complete it, be patient and know that they are doing so for your safety. Also in the medical bay, you can find samples collected from the crew. Every so often, you will need to check these for abnormalities. Once you enter the system, click the button to start. The samples will take 60 seconds to process. You do not need to wait for the vials to finish filling. So once you click the button, get on with taking care of other parts of the ship before coming back later. Once you return, you will need to select any vial that is not blue. At the back of the Skeld, you will find the reactor that powers the ship and everything else. When it randomly shuts off, don't panic. Just go to the reactor room and play a match the pattern game to restart it. Along with the reactor, the engines will need power constantly. When they're low on fuel, collect from storage and fuel the engines individually. You must always start with the top engine, then the bottom. Never, ever try to do them in the other order. It may lead to catastrophic engine failure. Along with fuel, the engines will also need to be aligned. To do this, access the alignment systems. Move the engine in the system to match the output line on the indicator. Unlike fueling the engines, this can be done in either order without ruining your ship forever. Back in the reactor room, you will also need to unlock manifolds. This is done by simply pressing the buttons in the correct sequential order. For your convenience, we've labeled them for you, as our construction crew likes to put them in randomly. There are many tasks to be completed within the electrical room. The first is to calibrate the distributors. When you access the panel, you need to click the button as the distributor aligns itself with the indicator. If you do mess up the alignment, the entire system will reset and you will need to start over. If you do have to start over, don't worry. You'll just be spending longer in the completely safe electrical room. The next task that starts in electrical is diverting power. This task will require you to flip up the correct switch on the power panel. Then you'll have to go to either communications, the upper engine, the lower engine, navigation, oxygen, security, shields, or weapons before aligning the crystal to accept the power. What that extra power is for, the world may never know. All ships accumulate garbage over time, and you may get the job of clearing it. With this test, you will either need to start in cafeteria or oxygen and activate the trash chute before going to storage and emptying the trash there. We are sure everything in there will only be trash. That's not a real diamond that could pay for the ship twice over. Not at all. When your ship takes a beating, you will have problems with the shield, and they will need to be primed for future use. Go down to the shields room and activate the shields and ready them again. Just be careful you don't turn off all the shields and let something come smashing into your ship, killing everyone. In the navigation room, you will need to stabilize the steering for the ship to go in the correct direction. When you access the panel, select the current steering alignment and drag it back to the center. This one works right. I mean, of course it works right. Everything works right. It's such a good ship. Also in navigation is where you will plot your future course. Go to the control and drag the ship to the indicated points along the route. Don't worry, it's completely normal for you to take like 8 drags because the system is just, quote, touchy. Up in the oxygen room, you will find the filter that keeps the air nice, clean, and breathable for you and your fellow crew. However, it can clog with debris. You will need to select the items clogging the filter and drag them to remove them. Wait, leaves? In space? How? The final short task is downloading data from the different rooms before uploading it into the admin room. You will need to collect it from the cafeteria, communications, electric, navigation, or weapons before going to the admin room and uploading it to the panel. Each part of this task will only take between 8.5 and 10 seconds, depending on when the little man decides to leave the folder. But at least it's cute animation making you stand there forever, completely unable to run away from anyone sneaking up behind you. These tasks are something that everyone will have to do when you have them. There are only 2 possible ones on the Skeld. The first is to swipe your ID card at the admin table. You just need to remove it from your wallet and do a controlled swipe to the machine. It's simple. You won't fail this a dozen times by going too slow, then bad read, then too fast, until you want to throw yourself out into space. The second common task is wires. You will always get 3 sets to do. You match the wires of the same type in order to reconnect them. Wires will always go in the order of electric, storage, admin, navigation, cafeteria, and security. It can start at any of the first 4, and it can skip forward over sets of wires, but it can never go back on the list. Never. Don't even think about it. Okay, now that we have that handled, we can talk about the resources you have in case things go wrong. The admin table will show you where the crewmates are at all times, and anything pretending to be crewmate, or the dead body of a crewmate. Lots of information. That's the key, information. In the security room, you'll find the monitor for cameras around the ship. These will cover all over the ship, or 4 hallways and no actual rooms. What about the other hallways? Well, you can keep an eye on those 4 hallways and nothing bad will happen outside of them. You can count on that. But hey, what good would catching something bad happening on the cameras be if you couldn't report it? That's why we've included this patented emergency button. We put it in the most convenient place, in the center of the cafeteria. Hitting the button will alert the crew to come back for a meeting. Wait, what? What do you mean it doesn't work if any of the systems have been sabotaged? How do the lights being off affect this button? That makes no sense. Oh, I shouldn't question it. It might take away from the experience. Fine. If by chance some strange alien was pretending to be part of the crew, there are a few areas they could attack in order to make life hard on the crew. But as we know, that would never happen. Lights are a key area to know how to reset. After all, it's terrible when you're trying to move around the ship without lights. You bump into everything and it goes flying all around. This will leave a mess for you to clean up after. But hey, at least a mess and a stubbed toe, your biggest worry when you have no lights for a bit. When you approach the panel in the electrical room, flip any switch that is not lit up. Communications is another area that can be attacked. It will ruin your listed tasks and the resources covered previously. But really, who would actually use this? It's the worst one by far. Oxygen is a deadly place to be attacked. In the oxygen room, you will need to enter the code to reset the system. You or another crewmate will need to do the same in the admin room. Failing to do so in time will cause you to die from a lack of air. Lack of air? Aren't they stuck in spacesuits? How does this even make sense? The doors, which are normally kept open, can be closed. But don't worry, they will open shortly on their own. Nothing bad could happen while you're trapped in a room with someone for a short while. The last place to be attacked be the reactor. It can be caused to overload. In order to reset this, you will need a friend. You each need to press one of the controls at the same time to prevent a meltdown. Wait, I don't have a friend with me. Oh shit!